Now while you're watching this video, please remember to like, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon for notifications of new uploads, and share this video also. Thank you. Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I have another exciting video for you today, and as you can see, the title suggests, are you burning? Need to out your flame? Let's start. Yeah, so in this very short and brief video, we are going to talk about the aspect of burning. Right? Yeah, we're going to be talking about the aspect of burning. For those of you who may be looking for a video that should have been posted yesterday, right? That video will be posted tomorrow by God's grace. Right? I had a lot of hiccups, but I'll have it sorted out and give it by tomorrow. Now, the aspect of burning. You would have watched one of my videos, right? You would have watched one of my videos titled The Great Burden of Christians. And you would have seen one of my videos where I talked about having sexual urges. No, women and lust being one of my greatest struggle. Right? Now, in the video I did talking about the great burden of Christians, I left out one part, right, from out of the video, and the part that I left out is actually this, the whole aspect of burning and how to actually deal with it. Now, in simple terms, Paul's recommendation for persons who are actually burning is that they should marry. We find this from 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 8 to 9. He says, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn. Did you get that? It is better to marry than to burn. This is what the apostle is saying here, you know. Based on the context and what Paul is actually trying to convey. He's basically saying that burning is not a good thing. Yeah? This is why I said that it's better to marry than to burn, you know. Obviously, he's telling you that burning won't be a good thing for you. And it won't be a good thing for you spiritually, right? And here's why it won't be a good thing for you spiritually. In verse 2, in verse 1 to 2, he says, now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. So based on whatever they wrote to Paul, you know, obviously they were asking Paul a question, and it seems like it would be of a sexual rapport, right? So Paul is here saying, concerning the things that you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, or some translation would say sexual immorality, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. So this is a remedy or recommendation to avoid sexual immorality. Find yourself a man, woman. Find yourself a man or a husband. Man, find yourself a woman or a wife, then so to speak. Right? Because if you don't, right, and you're in a position of burning, as what Paul's saying, is better to marry than to burn, what's going to happen? You're always going to be in danger of committing sexual immorality. This is why Paul says, you know, to avoid it, it's best to have a wife. So some persons, they have the gift of celibacy, right? And Paul spoke about this in verse 7 when he says, I wish that all men were even as myself, but every man hath his proper gift of God, one after this manner and one after another. Right? So Paul is basically saying he wish everyone was like him, because Paul was single, you know. Right? He wish everyone like him, but everyone has their proper gift in God. So Paul is identifying the act of being single as a gift. Right? So therefore he's saying some persons like himself have the gift of singleness. It means they can be perfectly happy single. They don't necessarily need a partner. It won't affect them spiritually. They won't burn. They have such strong self-governance then, so to speak. Right? So it won't matter to them whether they have someone or not, because it won't affect them spiritually. However, not all persons have this gift. Right? And so this is why immediately after he talks about the gift in verse 8, he says, well, if you're unmarried and you're a widow, it's good for you to abide just as him. Right? And further in the verse, he will tell you why this is so. It is because that when you're unmarried, you can more cater to the things of God rather than if you actually have someone. Right? And I can explain more about that. You can more care about the things of God when you're single than when you have someone. Right? Because you're going to cater for how you can please the person. So you can in some ways do more while you're single. Right? But however, Paul says, if you cannot contain, and in verse 9, if you cannot contain, that is, you cannot control your sexual urges, it's better for you to marry. Right? It's better for you to marry if you cannot do this, because why? According to verse 1 and 2, you have to avoid fornication, and if you're in a position of burning, it's going to be hard for you to avoid sexual immorality. What am I saying to you then by this video is what I actually tell myself for a long time, right? That you have to find woman, you have to find a husband, man, you need to find a wife. This is something that you ought to go on your knees, pray about it, and while you're praying about it, hey, nothing is wrong with going out there and seeking, you know. If you're a man, go and find a wife. So you ought to go and seek a wife. If it is that you're going to visit church and so to speak, go to places where you can meet Christian women, socialize and what have you, go and hunt for your wife, young man. Woman, if you're in this position, you need to put yourself out there in the space where you can be found. So if you're just in house all day, right, if you're not visiting churches then, so to speak, right, how are you going to be found if you're basically hiding under a box? Right? I'm giving you this as a recommendation. No, I know that things are rather different now because of COVID-19. It is not easy to put yourself out there really as a woman, and as a man, it's not easy to find women these days because of COVID-19. You know, everyone have on masks, everyone is social distancing and all these kind of things. It's very challenging, right? But nevertheless, God has still provided a window for us that we can actually meet and talk as singles and so forth. You can meet person and so forth, and that is through the aspect of that is through the aspect of Christian dating apps. I said that I'm going to put out a video where this is concerning a separate, where we talk about Christian dating sites and apps and so forth. So go to places where you can find Christian singles who have similar interests in finding a partner. Hey, nothing is wrong with this, you know, and you don't need to feel ashamed about it. Your spiritual life and your salvation depend on it. So don't feel ashamed about it. Right? Don't feel shame or feel like you're doing something bad. Right? Now, where I am concerned, you know, I have no shame whatsoever. Right? When shame was given out, I unfortunately never got any. So I'm not afraid to tell you that at this present time, Paul is basically writing this to me because I am somewhat in a position of burning. So I know for myself that I have to find a wife. As a matter of fact, I never anticipated that I would be single for 6 years since I have recommitted to Christ. Since I recommit in Adventism 2015 till now, I had no idea whatsoever that I was going to be single to this day. But that is true unfortunate circumstances. It's not that I haven't met anyone and so forth, but yes guys, so even on YouTube, and I see it happen so many times where you may make a YouTube video and when you look in the comment section, it seems like it's some robot or something, just have a little link there and the link sends you to either some sex site or some dating site that doesn't have Christians, you know. It's inviting you and say, hey, girls needed and what have you. So I'm certain if you're a YouTuber, you're bound to see it sooner or later pops up on someone YouTube channel. It happens to me and I have to delete them ever so often. I'm just showing you how the times we are living in, how the devil tempts us in the simplest way. Even when you're trying to avoid things, it just comes to you, right? They never had to deal with it in that manner back then. So this is the trade-off and why sexual immorality is going to be even more rampant among us as Christians, right? You're watching a show and by the time before you know it, you see some sex scene, right? You turn on your TV, you go about, you see some poster. Anytime they're doing advertisements, you always see some naked girls put up to do advertisements. This world is a materialistic world and a world of sex. When it's not material things you're seeing sex plastered all over. So as a result of this, guys, it's going to be very difficult for us to be sexually pure. This is the challenge and the great burden of Christians. And this is why I said in my video titled, The Great Burden of Christians, to not let anyone put any other burden. It's not I said it, you know. It was said in Acts 15 Jerusalem Council. No other burden other than those, right? This burden of sexual purity is enough of a burden. We don't need any more burden. As for me, no more burden than that is going to be placed on me because I have this challenge that I've been dealing with for 6 years now and no one is going to place any more burden on me, right? I'm just adding in this part for you. So I can close this video now by saying, guys, that the need for sex and for sexual satisfaction, it is real, it is normal, and it is natural. But if you don't have the gift of singleness, where you're able to contain yourself and you know it doesn't matter to you, if you're in a position of burning, go out there and find your partner. Men, go on the hunt. Women, put yourself out there, right? But the key in doing this is allowing the Lord to lead you, right? Allowing the Lord to lead you. So men, while you're going out there and hunt, don't be naive, you know, and think in yourself, you know. Don't allow feminism to let you believe that women are all angels, because that's far from the truth. They give just as much problem as men. So don't be naive now, you know. You need to allow the Lord to guide you in your hunt. And women, don't be careless, because we all know many of these men are bastards. So don't be careless. Allow the Lord to lead you and to show you who that person is. Right? I'm a practical Christian, you know, guys. I'm very practical. You can't expect that women is just going to come, just drop right here in front of you. No. The Bible says, he that findeth his wife findeth a good thing. So how can you find something if you're not searching for it? So you have to go out there. And women, if you are going to find a wife, how can you find you if you don't put yourself out there to be found? Don't let anybody tell you no foolishness, you know. Men, go on the hunt, right? And women, put yourself out there. But in doing such, both men and women, allow the Lord to guide you and allow him to lead you. So I end this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And join me tomorrow for another amazing video like this. Bye-bye now.